What's up, guys? Luca here. Luca Teal, yeah, it's the Ashen one, the Ashen Lucario, the Ashen Luca. It's me. I'm here with another episode of the show, and today we will be discussing a variety of topics. One of which is something that I was not shocked. Okay, I wasn't shocked. I wasn't surprised. I wasn't befuddled. I wasn't baffled. Okay, regardless of how people what people may think, it's something that, like, I understand it and makes sense. The thing that I absolutely dislike when it comes to being in this community is when people are like, well, obviously this was gonna happen if you had any business sense. Mind you, they have no business sense themselves because they don't work in any sort of they don't have any official title or work in any official capacity relating to having a business or having a business degree even, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's like, all right, but there's just some things going on that had a couple folks scratching their head, had me scratching my head. Not because I didn't understand, but because it's bullshit. It's bullshit that these things happen and we're supposed to just, I mean, we have no choice but to accept it, right? Like, this is just how this society is, but it still sucks for the people involved. But before we get into that, Singer, thanks so much for being on, my boy.
No problem, no problem.
All right.
What up, everyone?
And then Slow, thank you again for always being here. Appreciate it.
Hey, no problem. Let's do it.
All right, so let's go ahead and talk about these layoffs. Before we get into that, we want to talk about Mike Ybarra leaving.
Sure.
Mike,
grand opening, grand closing. He's back with Microsoft. No, never mind. He's gone again. So, yeah, Mike got I mean, look, we're not going to get any official word of what really happened with all this, but the word from the company is he chose to leave the company. Whether he had an option to stay or not remains to be seen. But Mike Ybarra is no longer running Blizzard. He's no longer the president of Blizzard, and I think we're going to get sometime next week an announcement of who is now running that studio. But he's out.
He was definitely voluntold to leave.
So here are your options. We can fire you, or we can give you this nice fat severance package, and you just enjoy life for a while until you need the work. How does that
Yeah.
feel for you?
Also, like, you can leave with your dignity intact because we didn't openly fire you, which is something
Right.
they like to do for high end executives. They give them this option of just leaving, and getting paid for it. So
Mm-hmm.
it's one of those things where I'm not super surprised. Like, imagine leaving a company and then only to find out that the company that you left them for got bought out by that company you left. Like, come on. And I can imagine maybe there might have been some bad blood as he left. You imagine him being like, "Yeah, fuck y'all, I'm out." And then, "Oh, I guess I'm not out. I'm back under you guys again. Oops," you know?
it kind of sucks for him, but I mean, he
Sucks is
must
right.
have his reasons. So he bailed on his own, I would imagine.
I don't think it
'Cause,
was on his own. I don't think it was on his own at his own volition. I think that they told him to leave.
yeah, I mean, there might be something in the background that we don't know about.
Did you guys see the developer who now works at NXile but used to work at Blizzard and what he said about Mike Ybarra? He definitely wasn't holding back. He eventually deleted the tweet, but he was like, "This guy isn't." Let me go find it. He was like, "This guy isn't well liked. He's um seems like he was pretty much glad he was gone." And he deleted the tweet, of course, which really is more of a sign of it's true, but I wasn't supposed to say that. So let me go ahead and delete that before everyone gets pissy at me.
Mm.
But I that's what I like. I mean, I'm no insider or anything, but every time someone talks about the experience of working with that guy, it's not been positive. So, and also from what we know, remember he was running before he left Microsoft the first time, he was running Mixer. Remember
that
all
failed
that came out?
application, yeah.
Yeah, and remember how Mixer died and what was happening at Mixer with the racism, with the slavery talk and all kinds of other stuff that was going on there. Like that was his people that he was running before he left. So it wouldn't be any kind of surprise if like that kind of culture was cultivated while he was there. So
That's why Activision Blizzard was perfect for him.
right. It's
If
like I'm
that was the
coming
case.
home.
If
Right,
he
right.
did cultivate that kind of environment. But yeah, so yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
like I said, I think he was voluntold to get the fuck up out of there, and I'm not surprised. Listen, I thought Mike Ybarra was an asshole ever since that time. This was years ago, right? Years ago, in which he like came on here and like publicly uh denigrated, publicly verbally accosted Jez Corden. He was just like such an asshole to him, and I was just like, oh, I don't like that. Like I don't like people who are like unnecessarily mean, and that's coming from someone who has been unnecessarily mean before, you know what I'm saying? Like especially if someone, like, rocks with you and then you go out of your way to be a dickhead to them just because they made a mistake or they relayed some information that they weren't supposed to or whatever the reasoning was, he was a complete and total dick to him, and I was just like, I don't really like that, you know what I'm saying? And then, like, there are things I heard about him behind the scenes too, right? Like, obviously.
Hmm.
So, it's just one of
I
those
have a
things.
quote from the
Yeah.
guy
Oh,
from NXL. His name is Joe Cash.
wanna share your screen?
He
Oh, I mean, you don't have to.
I'm pulling it as a screen because it's deleted as a
Mhm.
screenshot from a DM. So I think I'll just tell it. But he said he was 100% a part of the problem in regards to Blizzard's culture, retention, and safety. He knew this was coming. He refused to stand up for those who were forced to return to office regardless of health, income, distance, etc. He ruined lives. And that was deleted from Joe Cash's Twitter account. Like a few
Jesus.
hours after he put it up there. Um, I think also something to I guess bring up is the fact that so it wasn't an announcement officially that was made. It was more leaked out that all these people were being laid off before an official statement was put out there. But so many of the 1,900 developers had no idea they were being laid off or any of this was going to occur when it did. But Mike
Real quick,
Ybarra,
real quick, before we get into that, can we talk about how that is a trend? Where it's like these fucking scumbag corporations, which it's not just the gaming industry, it's corporate America, right? They just don't tell people like until it's like the day of, or they're finding out from some other means if the corporation has some form of social media that people are just fucking losing their jobs. You know what I'm saying? And it's like
yeah,
it's just it goes back to this. I've been saying this for years now. These corporations do not care about you. They don't give a fuck. All that, oh, we're a family, and all that stuff is bullshit. It doesn't matter. It doesn't mean anything, and they will get rid of you if they have to. No matter how well liked you are, though. No matter how well liked you are, no matter how long you've been at a corporation, if they want to get rid of you, they're going to get rid of you, and they're going to do it with zero remorse and zero regard for how it will affect your life going forward.
yep. But I was as I was just saying, it's very interesting. All these people had no idea that they were going to get laid off, and almost immediately after the layoff was made public, Mike had this really long message that he put out on Twitter. And so like there's no way he wrote that and it was ready to go in like the very short period of time he would have had to come up with that statement. Clearly he knew it. I mean, and to go a little bit further, Matt Booty, who made a statement about him leaving, pretty much confirmed that they had been talking about him leaving for a long time, because that was he admitted that me and Mike have been in talks for a little while now about his future. So Yeah, he was fully aware of everything and didn't give anyone a heads up, which I'm pretty sure a lot of the nearly 2,000 people did not appreciate.
1,900 people, actually.
Yeah, it's a crazy amount of people, but like it's just January alone has been crazy. And the funny thing is about not informing people. Shout out to Riot Games. They did that as well. They let off 12% of
Yeah,
their entire.
530 people.
Yep. And they just up and I'm telling you, Riot Games is on fire right now. They are making so much money. All their games are hitting. League of Legends is the most popular it's ever been. It was like 180 million monthly players. Fantastic. Axe 500 plus people. I don't know. Like, I don't
think
know.
it's corporate greed, man, in my opinion.
Google slammed us, and these people aren't going through mergers and acquisitions. There's no overlapping jobs. It's just we don't need you. Bye. So I mean,
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's just kind of like it just makes me sigh. It just makes me sigh, honestly speaking, because it's just kind of like Microsoft just came out and said we are now a $3 trillion company. Also, here are 1,900 people losing their jobs in the gaming division, including Activision Blizzard, including the Call of Duty studios. Just 3 months after closing on its 69 billion acquisition, right? And it's like people, of course, I get it, redundancy, I completely understand, but at the same time, when it comes to certain businesses and certain organizations, they don't understand that the long-term, quote unquote benefit of letting go of so many people because it frees up your funds, right? What it does to corporate morale. You know what I'm saying? Like if I was working at a
Mhm.
corporation that just fired 1,900 people, and I'd be like, oh, let me start looking for a new job because I might be next. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah, it's
that
definitely
would be
not
my
over.
viewpoint. Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
it's definitely not over. This is like the first round of their pruning of the ABK deal to what do they call it? Corporate synergy, I think that's the term for it. Where it's essentially laying off redundant teams because you had an independent corporation that was running independently, so they had like their own legal team, their own HR, their own marketing, all that stuff. And then now you QA, and then now you bring them under the fold, and it's like, okay, we own you now, so you really don't need the legal team, you don't need the HR, you don't need these people. They gotta go, or we're going to take the best of them and move them over to our Xbox side or Microsoft side of things. But frankly, if you look at some of the stuff that ABK has been doing way more successfully than Microsoft has, if I worked in Xbox marketing, I should have been scared. Because if you're going to do some synergy kind of stuff, you're going to be synergizing my behind about here because Xbox marketing is trash compared to ABK. Like what they do with Call of Duty, even Overwatch, which like Overwatch is a lot, in my opinion, a scam. But you look at how they have like well done like CG trailers for every single character, how they market Diablo, how they do amazing marketing for Call of Duty. They in their bag on a marketing standpoint. Xbox couldn't be bothered to even tweet out about Pentiment.
Yeah,
And that's
so
free.
they should have gotten listen, they should have gotten rid of Xbox's marketing department and kept Activision Blizzard's, but that's just me. That's just me. It's just slow. That's just our thought process. You know what I'm saying? Because like
well, I mean,
I'm sorry, Microsoft's marketing is trash, dude. It's so fucking bad, dude. Like I've been saying this for years now. I'm just like, what is going on with y'all? But I'm sorry, go ahead, Singer. And what's up, Nautical?
Yo, what's up?
What up, Forte? The thing is, like, you don't necessarily need to fire all the marketing team. You just need to fire. You just need to keep the key figures that come up with the ideas for the marketing, the heads of the marketing. Get rid of the rest because you don't need the just normal people. You need the people that come up with the amazing ideas for the marketing. Keep them, and then you just use your people under them to help their vision. So,
well, I mean, but we don't quite know the structure. Like, what if the marketing team with ABK is so free flowing where anyone with a great idea just says it, and so it's more of like it's not just a key person that is the rock star of the group, but it's literally a team that's just that good. Like, we don't know. We don't know for certain. What we do know is that like they outperform the other side of the aisle, and I, although we don't know for certain if the marketing team is gone, but there's a lot of people that are gone. But like we do know they're like they really, this is a bit more than just getting rid of redundancies and corporate synergy, as they say, because there was a QA lead who said that his entire team is gone. These are people who are doing quality assurance on Call of Duty. So, all right, now you're messing with, look, Call of Duty already barely comes out playable every year. They don't have a lot of time, and they get it ready, but it's got its issues when it launches. Now you're kind of messing with the ability to get that stuff out when it's on a timely manner. That's problematic. When you did like Toys for Bob, which is a much smaller developer, but they're doing support work on Call of Duty, lost 30% of their staff. It's like anywhere between 30 to 40% of all the Call of Duty developers lost people. How is that redundancies? These are developers that are working on a specific IP that you don't have outside of ABK. How is that a redundancy?
The thing is, I don't know how they work it out, because Activision had Activision Blizzard's 22,000 employees. So how do you cut?
That's too much. There was, before these cuts, they were at 1,700.
Oh, never mind. It was It's because the person who made the tweet added an extra 0, and even then he was still wrong. That's hilarious. Also, by the way, shout out, he is a blue check mark journalist, apparently. Anyway, but we know they can't get their facts straight. Oh
man.
I mean, it's no surprise. It's just like, okay, I knew there was cuts coming, because there always is after merger and acquisition. I just didn't think it was 1900.
Mergers and acquisitions. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I just didn't know it'd be 1900. I thought it'd be less than that. But clearly, they
because they merged. Because I'm into murders and executions. I'm referencing American Psycho. I'm referencing American Psycho, in which I'm referencing it. So anyone who understands it. So I'm not going to explain it. But sorry, go ahead.
There was, I guess, to be fair, there's some information out there that I guess kind of explains some of the reasoning for this. And so when they entered into the agreement to acquire Activision Blizzard King, they were at 9,700 developers, or 9,800, I think. Somewhere, they were under 10,000. And by the next year, they had gone up to like 12,000. And then somewhere in 2023, they got even bigger as well. And the rationale behind that was because they were getting bigger in order to get games like Diablo 4 out and stuff like that, and make sure that the Call of Duty game was going to get released. And this is like I guess the rationale is that they got too big over the last 2 years, and they needed to cut a lot of the fat outside of just getting rid of the redundant departments. Which, okay, but I mean, I don't know. I think that like this quickly is a bit egregious on that front.
It's especially egregious considering the fact, again, they just announced that Microsoft is a $3 trillion corporation. Shout out to FTW for becoming a member of the channel. Appreciate you, my boy. It just makes them look like it's just bad PR. It's just bad PR. And I even made a tweet about it where I was like, Microsoft becomes a $3 trillion company and follows that up with laying off almost 2,000 employees. It just doesn't look good. It sounds ridiculous.
But let me to play devil's advocate on that though. how do you announce that you're a $3 trillion company, lay off a bunch of people, but your stock price goes up?
Because the shareholders don't care.
And that's the thing.
And this move was done specifically with the shareholders in mind, because they have a financials report coming out either next week or something like that. And this the fat that they cut, these 1,900 people that are no longer a part of the expenses to a degree, are going to also help reflect how well business is going as far as they're concerned. So shareholders don't care. They don't care that there's a developer who has a chronic heart disease, and if she doesn't get her medication, and she can only afford her medication through her medical benefits, she will die. Not maybe, will die, and she's been laid off. They don't care. They care about their dividend. That's what they care about.
Microsoft isn't the only one, because Riot did that. When they 500 people off, they announced the stats of how well their games are doing, and they did it exactly the same time, but no one talks about Riot, even though they're super massive. But then again, they also the live broadcast for esports, League of Legends. I watched the LEC, which is in charge of European the esports scene. And they just posted on Twitter, oh, by the way, these bunch of people are gone. We've laid off the head of production. We've laid off a whole bunch of... There's like one person in charge of production now. I'm like, you just recorded peak viewership over the weekend. You have the highest you've ever had, and now you're getting rid of pretty much half the team that works on it.
So the funny thing is, you're never going to see this. Transparency is the number one way that you can kind of combat stuff like this when it comes to like the reason you do certain things. But companies aren't going to come out and tell you the exact reason why they did it, because it doesn't sound all that good when you like, especially like you said, when you're announcing that you're a $3 trillion company, because all the things that we're saying, like people in the chat saying, you know, cheap labor and all this other stuff. I won't say that's cheap, like, because they're still paying a lot of people a lot of money there. They're just not going to pay as many people a lot of money like they were doing before. The biggest thing is they definitely, you know, being a person that, you know, and I know Slow-Mo, you deal with stuff like P&Ls and stuff like that when you did management and stuff. You see every line item, and the thing is, employment and salaries is a line item.
Yeah,
and when that, and I mean, it's a
pretty big one too.
It's a pretty big one. It's like literally, like if you want to show profits in a year, or if you want to show an improvement in an area, taking that one line item of salaries or payroll and cutting it literally impacts that number the most, outside of closures of buildings and studios or assets and stuff like that. And even then, I still think payroll is the highest thing that's going to impact that number the most. And they know, like, especially when it comes to ABK, they know how much they actually need to get what they need out the door and not to really impact that number. Like they were growing, like you said, they did grow those studios quite a bit over the course of the last couple of years with ABK. And I think they're still letting people go, you know, from 2020 and 2021. They were still hiring a lot of people in 2022. The biggest thing, a lot of those contracts probably was getting ready to run out, because, you know, that's another thing people don't realize when you're in these type of positions, you're kind of tied to you're under a contract most of the time. And a lot of these people probably got let go before their contracts were actually, you know, they came up to before they actually ran out or anything. So there's a lot of different reasons this type of stuff happens. It just never feels good, but you'll never have, the companies will never come out here and tell you exactly why they did what they did, because them trying to explain it to you will just make you roll your eyes even more, because it's all about greed. It's all about the bottom. It's all about that.
All about the bottom line.
It's all about the bottom line.
Yeah.
And the biggest thing that everybody has to understand is, yes, corporations like Satya Nadella, he sits at the top of Microsoft, but he's not the person. He's not everything goes through that board. and that board answers to the shareholders. And just to give some type of clarity, I have shares in Microsoft. I've been buying shares ever since like 2011, and I have quite a bit of them. And it went up, and I was like, oh man, it actually went up and stuff. And you're right, most people don't care. When they just see a number go up and they see their bank account get bigger, they forget about the impact that kind of had that happen. Now, could they have moved this stuff to other places? Like some people talk, like I talked about, how could have moved these people to other places inside of Microsoft and probably had a shortfall that way. But I think they're just going to tell you when do you want us to pull the plug on this? Because they look at it as like, okay, we don't need this anymore. Are we just going to kick the can down the road? Or are we just going to pull the Band-Aid off instantly? And when you're a company that big, and like you said, that number doesn't hurt them as much as it hurts the people that
it comes back down to the people, man.
And
like,
that's what it is.
Richard Hogue was like, saying everything that we know. He's just like, you don't need two separate back offices at one company. Pause a bit before sounding the alarm bells for the industry. And I don't agree with that particular part of his statement, because Microsoft, again, is not the only gaming division that has let go of a shit ton of people. People in the industry have been losing their jobs left and fucking right. They've been getting laid off and fired left and fucking right the last couple of months. It's bad. And we saw what just happened at Bungie. And then they fucking went. Yeah, you're right. The last couple of years, they fucking fire a shit ton of people at Bungie, and then they're like, oh, actually, we're hiring a bunch of people back. Yeah, and we're going to hire those people back and have them do the same job for significantly less amount of money. Just way cheaper. Like this industry, I mean, every industry is fucking scum, dude. And like this person said this under my tweet, the Brokey account. He said, it's disheartening reading about investors celebrating profits for eBay while disregarding the welfare of 1K people. The pursuit of wealth shouldn't come at the expense of human lives and well-being. Compassion should be valued over callous financial gains. And even though he's talking about eBay over here, this can apply for literally every single corporation, every single body of government, even every single entity that just exists with an absurd amount of money. All they care about is the bottom line, and there's just zero compassion. There's zero human empathy, and it's something I really had to contend with the last couple years or so, is that people just do not care about others unless they are directly affected by it. Like, people don't feel anything unless they are directly affected by it. Now, of course, that's not everybody, right? But it's just like the people in power are in power because they were willing to do scummy shit to get in power. And then good people who actually care about others, they're not in power and they don't have that financial power, because in order to gain it, you have to be a shitty person. So it's just like, it's one of those things where you continue to see terrible people making decisions that affect everybody else, while they're the ones who are just sitting pretty on their throne of cash. It fucking sucks, dude. And again, I feel like it makes me think about the whole crunch conversation. First of all, this gaming community, drama community, whatever, right, is full of people who don't care about anything other than themselves, and don't care about anything other than like their favorite platform. They are completely devoid of any sort of human emotion outside of themselves and their families. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, when I see these things happen, and I see the complete and total disregard and lack of thought for the people associated, I'm just kind of like, man, like, you can do two things at once. You can be like, this really fucking sucks, and then also understand the financial implications of it all. You can also understand why something happened while also being able to say that fucking sucks. Just that people think that just because you don't like something, it means you don't understand it. You know what I'm saying? They think that you're too ignorant to understand this thing, or you're too stupid to understand this thing, you're too blinded to understand this thing. It's like, no, I get it. And because I get it, that's why I can say it fucking sucks, because I actually feel things for other people. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like I feel for people. First of all, I've been saying this for years now. I would never want to work in this industry. It is a vile industry, you know. It's completely vile. Um I just can't even I just can't imagine it. I just can't imagine it. Like I've worked at some corporations where some pretty fucked up things were happening. But it's like some of the things I've heard about what was going on at, Activision Blizzard, what was going on at Microsoft and some of that racism shit, like what, like all that stuff, right? I'm just like, yeah, like you just, what was happening at Bungie and all, like, oh, Latin X, oh, we're for, blacks at Bungie, like we're for all of that shit. But behind the scenes, the most vile, disgusting things were happening. Like, I don't even
Right.
understand, like, I don't, man. I would have been fucking out of there. And I can say this with a surety because I have been in some very bad situations and I was like, yeah, I'm getting the fuck up out of here. I'm gone. Like you're not going to I'm not staying here. You're not going to I'm not like but some other people, I had the luxury of being able to leave without it being an issue. You know what I'm saying? I have help. I have people to fall back on. I have my family. Other people, it's not that easy, and they endure and put up with like the worst kind of abuse because they need money in order to survive. You know what I'm saying? It's just like a fucked up situation. It's just like, you know, man, it's fucked, dude. It's definitely fucked.
Yeah, I agree. I just think at a certain point, it's like, I mean, I guess it's because when I look at that type of stuff, I look at it like in the air, what would I do as a person that if I had to look at a number and say, and someone tells me this number has to be in line by this day, how do I go about doing it? And you got, I guess you got to look at the whole portfolio and see exactly all the things, all the chess pieces you can move. And I think that's the biggest thing. We really don't know the chess moves that Microsoft or any of these corporations can make to affect a line to bring it in line to the point where they don't have to make layoffs and stuff like this. Because that's ultimately the number one way you do it is by laying people off. You affect the number the biggest or the greatest, I should say, versus anything else. And then it ultimately just comes back to if they, I honestly believe if they would have never announced that they were the wealthiest company in the world in line with doing this, that was just part of the tone deaf side of it. But I don't even think it was really tone deaf. I just think that's just par for the course. When
It's
you
just how
when
things
you
are, man.
when you say something like when you know you're gonna lay off a bunch of people, you put out something like the most richest company in the world alongside that. The people that make the number move the most are going to be the people that's going to put more money into the stock because you just announced something great. And the ones that are going to be upset are the ones that are on the other side of that really don't care about that number at all. And that's where you see the plus go up when it comes to shares. But the one thing I want to ask you guys is, you talked about Bungie. Luca, do you believe I don't know if you've seen it, the video that Paul Tassi put out talking about Bungie said that he found out the number that they gave on how many people were at Bungie before the layoffs was wrong. That was the wrong number, and it was actually like 200 more. That's why it looks like Bungie hired more people outside after they laid all those people off, but they really didn't. He had the wrong number in the first place.
Oh, okay. That's interesting.
He put a video out yesterday talking about it. He said that he was under the assumption for the person he talked to that Bungie was at 1,100 people or 11 or 1,200 people. Come to find out, they were actually higher than that, and no one really knew what the number at Bungie was because they got so many people working from home still, and that number was actually closer to 1,400, and now they're closer to 1,200 now because of the layoffs. Do you actually believe that, or do you think there is, some stuff going on with that too?
That's the thing. Like, you never really fucking know when it comes to this stuff. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, we are not employees at that corporation, and we're not in the know when it comes to a lot of this stuff.
Right.
So who knows what the actual
But the fact that you
truth is.
think about stuff like that just makes you that just lets you know how dirty it feels. It's like, to those people that got laid off, they could care less what your actual number was. You told people that it was reported that you were at this number, and all of a sudden Now you're above the number that you let go people at, and it just seems like you hired more people. So as a person that got laid off, the information should have been right the first time. I don't care what you say after the fact.
Yeah.
You know, I also wonder because like I just started thinking about like situations corporate wise that I've been in where layoffs have occurred, and yeah, there were situations where a $1 billion corporation I used to work for laid off a lot of people, but then I also saw them also do a very humane thing, and this was in regards to the trainers that they had, the people that did all the training. They had all that in house, and then they laid that entire department off. But when they laid them off, they actually had negotiated a setup with a completely different corporation to actually rehire all those people. And so even though in their financials it looked like, okay, we don't pay them anymore, even though you are kind of like paying them indirectly because they work for a different company, but you don't have to worry about their medical, vision, whatever benefits anymore. And so that's an entire
That's why
other
they love
cost that you don't have to worry
contractors.
about. Right. And so this is why I think that there's this talk out there, and it's a lot of people who are in the Call of Duty community are very much a little concerned about this, because there's some talk, and it hasn't been confirmed, but there's talk that a lot of the people that they laid off were long-term actual full-time employees and not contractors. And there's some fears that if ABK has to follow under the same guidelines that Microsoft has when it comes to contractors, that's going to be very problematic for Call of Duty. Because as we saw with Halo, where contractors can only work for like, I think somewhere between 15 to 18 months before they have to be laid off, and they have to have a like 6-month off cooling period before they could be rehired if they don't, which they likely will end up finding work somewhere else before that 6 months is over. You have to then go find someone else to do that same job. You got to get them trained up, got to get them, hitting the ground running the same way the previous person who was doing that job was doing it. And then it's like, by that point, you're missing so much. The new person could be not as talented as the previous person. It gets problematic. And this is what a major issue that was at 343 Industries with the development of Halo, actually Halo Guardians and Halo Infinite, because a lot of the same team that did Guardians was not there for Infinite. People are really kind of like, we don't want to see this happen for Call of Duty. And I think relying on contractors, for whatever reasons, I forgot the reason why they implemented that rule. I think it was something law related with the state of Washington, I believe, a labor issue. But regardless, you can get around that by actually hiring these people on full time, because they don't want to be contractors. You're the one that's making them a contractor because you don't want to pay them, all the benefits you have to pay a full-time employee. You can get around that by actually making them full-time employees, so you don't have to worry about all that knowledge debt that you're losing when that person walks out the door. But if that's the case, that does not bode well for Call of Duty. A lot of these decisions, like, I understand them canceling the survival game, especially in light of Redfall, if it didn't look good, and the game's been in development for 6 years, and it's going to be development in order for it to be where they need it to be another like 2 or 3 years. Okay, I get it, cancel it. But did you have to lay off the entire team?
They're just like, get rid of these motherfuckers, dude.
Right. And did you have to lie about it? Because the reports that came out initially were saying they said that they reassigned the team on the survival game under Blizzard to other teams that were working on games. And then we got an actual developer who was on that team who said, no, the entire team is laid off. So you're saying things to the press, to the games media, that's inaccurate to what you're really doing behind the scenes. And you're telling me with all these other layoffs that you're doing, that you had to lay off teams, people from the teams that are working on Call of Duty, as well as laying off entire teams that are working on other new IP as well. So what's the future of ABK? You know,
I'm
because
very
when we
curious on
put that
that
all
too.
together, when we put it all together, is ABK just going to be doing the games that we know of, which is something that a lot of people suggested might just be the case? Because there were so many people that were so excited about this. Oh, they're going to bring back Prototype. They're going to bring back all
I
these
wish they
other
bring back
IP.
I love Prototype. Prototype is
I
so
like.
fucking awesome.
I think it's slow-mo
it's
to
on
answer
Steam,
that.
but
Excuse me? Slow-mo?
what? I
What'd
said
you
it's on
say?
Steam.
Oh,
It's on
okay.
Steam.
Okay. I was like,
So
what
what?
are you saying right now? But hold on. So I wanted to take a moment to say what's up to Lionel, Sean, Star Traffic, and Bandy. What's up, Yobi? Mike Johnson, Leaky, Mass. Oh, Mass, let me know if you want a link. What's up, Jez? How you doing, buddy? Why did I do that? Ehead, Iman, Acute, Ronald, Drav, Eli. Hi, Cassie. What's up, girl? Ripper, who understood my American Psycho reference. Bless you, King. Delta, what's up? Um, yeah, Alabama Jones, how y'all doing? Gold, how you do? Mr. Glass, how you guys doing? General Fade, Phil, Meat Puppets. What's up, guys? How are y'all doing this wonderful evening? Hope you guys are doing well. Nothing but love sending your way. But go ahead, Singer.
Just almost think they might just keep them on that because that's what's generating the money for them. Because you have a whole bunch of new IP coming from all the other studios. So it's like how much new IP do you need? Because if you have 30 something studios now.
You can always have
Like,
more IP.
yeah, but if you have 30 something studios and like 17 are making new IP, you need to make sure, so because their new IP is a risk, right? It might not hit. Whereas Call of Duty is guaranteed to bring you the money. Halo will bring you the money. Forza will bring you the money. Gears will bring you the money. But you don't know if what's the game from Compulsion? South of Midnight. You don't know what that's gonna do. Fable might be a flop. So you need to have something consistent, and Activision Blizzard offers that consistent money, that consistent paycheck every time.
Well, I'm thinking more of like as a gamer and stuff, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Well,
but
yeah,
I
as
also consider it like this. Quality control is an issue at Xbox. It is a very severe fucking issue at Xbox. So it would be nice, like if they're gonna not have as many IP to hone in on the IP they do have and actually make the games, successful, quality, working well, and games that developers actually want to make as well. You know what I'm saying?
Additionally, there is that issue that Microsoft or Xbox has always had, where they only rely on the trusted, true, established IP, and the Halo, Gears, and Forza kind of mindset. And it's like, you can keep going to that well all you want, but eventually you need to create new IP, because you have to cultivate new IP to have them take on what all the revenue that you're generating off of the more established ones that will eventually not make as much money. Like at some point in time, Call of Duty is going to have a sunset. It's not going to be as popular as it once was. Every IP goes through it. What is your plan to go forward after that? Do you have one? It's like you got to keep trying to create new and innovative things. They don't have to cost as much as your big IP does, but you need to be cultivating those talents and that creativity, because only then will you still be the trendsetter that everyone else is trying to compete with. If not, you're going to be like Ubisoft has been for a good 5 years, where they're just chasing the wave and always missing it.
Here's the problem.
What's up, Mass?
See, the thing is, you answered your own question in of itself, because they have more new IP coming out than they do their regular franchises. Gears is who knows where. Forza is somewhere down the line. Motorsport just came out. Halo is doing whatever the hell it's doing. I don't think C43 really knows. So
They're working on a new Halo game.
Well, okay, that's 8 years away or whatever. I don't know. It's a long time away. The next Gears is who knows. So all I have now is most of the games coming out over the next 2 years is new IP. Like most of it is pretty much new IP. Hellblade isn't, but the rest of the games for this year are new IP. Most of the games last year were new IP, and most of the games 2025 will probably be new IP. So they're funding the new IP. They've gone away from the Halo, Gears, and Forza mantra. So
it's just nobody likes the new IP. So it's irrelevant. It's great that I agree that they are making new IP. They stopped making Halo, Gears, and Forza for a while now. They probably gonna stop making them, because Forza came out real mid. Gears hasn't come out in like 5 years or whatever the hell it is. And Halo,
yeah, about 5 years. Right. Almost 6 years now.
Yeah, and Halo is dying. So they stopped making just Halo, Gears, and Forza. It's just everything else they put out in the middle nobody cared about. So they're like in a catch-22. They keep making new stuff, but if nobody gives a damn, it's irrelevant.
I mean, look, Bass has a point. I mean, look, let's take last week's developer direct. They showed us Avowed, new IP. It's Obsidian. It's going to be quality, but again, that's not like that didn't set the world on fire. You got Hellblade 2, which is not new IP, it's the sequel. You got Visions of Mana is not their game. Then you got Aura History Untold, which is for a niche market. It's a strategy game. You already know like the scope of the number of the gaming community that's going to get that. And then you got Indiana Jones, which is an IP that has had 2 failed movies over the past 2 decades. And the last really good movie was in the 90s, where a large portion of the gamers that you're going to be marketing this game towards weren't even alive.
Thanks.
So
the fact that people are still calling Indiana Jones an Uncharted ripoff is the stupidest shit in the world. But that's the people
they ripped off Indiana Jones.
Right. That's the people you're marketing to who think that is an actual thing, who think that Uncharted is older than Indiana Jones. Those are the people that you're marketing these games to. Also, and
the most exciting game coming is Blade, and we don't have no idea when that's actually going to.
I am fine with Indiana Jones being first person. I just want it to be a good game. But, there's a caveat to that. Why are you making a character game where you don't show the character? That's stupid. But that's just me. Like, if you are trying to market a famous character and that motherfucker's not on the screen most of the time, then you're just marketing a normal FPS game. It's fine. I'm just saying that's the
with a whip
baseline. Yeah,
maybe the audience would take it better if Mass says it and not me, because when I said it, everybody got upset. You know what I'm saying? You just got arms popping out from the bottom of the screen, punching people.
I was just gonna wait for Maslin to be finished, but as I said before, as I said to you, Slow-Mo, you can see him in the cutscenes, and that's what matters.
How many cutscenes is it? So is it going to be 4 hours worth of cutscenes?
I don't know. I don't know how many cutscenes. How much gameplay? We don't know yet. We don't know.
How long is the game gonna be? Who knows?
Who knows at this point?
Again, I'm fine with it. I just want it to be a good game because Microsoft has a problem making good games. So we need them to fix that part before we worry about whether it's first person or third person. We need them to make good games first.
That's true.
Then we'll fix everything else on the back end.
Well, we know they have some good studios, so we know some of them are going to make good games.
And Bandy, you know what I mean. I don't want you trying to misinterpret what I said and take it and try to spin it. I already know what you're doing.
They better rename this game Indiana in a Hall of Mirrors, and it better be mirrors all over the fucking place. So
we had an entire conversation about this last week. I gave my perspective last week. If you want the full context of it, was that last week?
I think it was last week. Yeah, because they showed the developer direct.
Okay, right. Yeah. If you want the full context of it, listen to the show from last week. See, this is why when it comes to bringing up conversations we've had in the past, the issue becomes, since I'm not going to spend my entire time and my entire night repeating myself from what I said before, and it turning into a, once again, what is an RPG? I'm not doing that shit again. You know what I'm saying? I'm not doing it again. So if you want the full context of what I said, go listen to the previous show, but don't, make assumptions or take things out of context, please. And Vandy, my good friend, who I once verbally accosted, even though you did nothing, So I try to be mindful of that as well, because I did verbally accost him that one time, but he didn't actually do anything, But that was a different Luca. That was a different me. I was a different person back then. That was years ago. I think it was like a year ago. That was years ago. I was in my 20s. I was emotionally at a different place. And now I am emotionally dead inside. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like it's different. It's different.
To be fair, you've been saying you're emotionally dead inside for years, while you were also doing, accosting people. But
actually I'm emotionally alive. That's why I said in Bandy, go listen to the show from last night. Did you call me sir? First of all, ma'am. Okay, I don't know. You might be calling me something.
Real quick, didn't you say earlier how you feel for people? Just in this show, you said earlier.
I do. I actually.
You can't be emotionally dead and feel for people.
I am emotionally enlightened. I am emotionally enlightened. Okay, no, and Vandy, I know you're talking to somebody else. I'm just fucking around because, I'm referencing how I called you out that one time, but you weren't cursing. You weren't talking to me. You were talking to someone else, and then I cursed you. I'm getting old, guys.
You are.
I'm getting so old.
Yeah, you definitely.
And I know that you can relate, Slow-Mo.
I knew it was coming. I was just waiting. I was just waiting for the shot to hit. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, I cannot. Do not misgender me, sir. So anyway, yeah.
It's man. All right, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
but...
that's. What? Okay. So anyway, Mr. Booty said that on the Activision, Blizzard, and Xbox layoffs, this is a difficult process, but it is one that will best enable Blizzard and Xbox to deliver. Oh my God, bitch, read. Okay, this is a difficult process, but it is one that will best enable Blizzard and Xbox to deliver ambitious games for our players on more platforms and in more places than ever before. Unfortunately, this statement also does not resonate with me because it goes back to the people who are left. Who's still there? The people who are still there are probably not feeling a lot of motivation right now. They're probably not feeling enticed to work hard. You know what I'm saying? Because they have to deal with the stress and emotional implications, not to mention the social implications of knowing that their colleagues were let go unexpectedly, So I definitely, I would be feeling a lot of stress, and I'd be a bit concerned about the quality of my games and the quality of the developers' health and all that stuff. So, what do you guys think about Mr. Booty's statement?
I think a lot of the responses seem to come from former developers of ABK and current developers was whatever, dude. like that would seem to be their response. Like it's just a trash PR statement from Matt Booty. And honestly, I'm kind of like to myself like laughing at Matt Booty because he doesn't speak as much as Sarah Bond and Phil Spencer do. And I would say for good reason, because whenever he does speak up, it's always people like, what did you just say? And there's always something like, I remember when he was all like, yeah, hey, Playground's Fable looks great. I wanted to show it, like right after they showed nothing. I wanted to show it, but they told me no. And it's just like, you're their boss, bro. Like, what? And yeah, I don't think he's as media savvy as Bond and Spencer are. And so they kind of just don't have him available for this kind of stuff. But he had to speak on it.
He's not media savvy at all.
but he had to speak on this because he's in charge of ABK now, as well as Xbox Game Studios and as well as Cinemax Media. He's in charge of all of it. So he's got to get better at this kind of stuff and speak in a way that where you may be conveying the same thing, but this in a way that people can empathize at least a little bit more with what you're saying instead of just being like, yo, bro, whatever. Because he just his Twitter account has been, it's been nearly 4 years since this man tweeted anything on this Twitter account. Like he just doesn't, he avoids the stuff like the plague. And it's just like, it's a part of your job now. Like when you hit this level of executive, you got to be better at speaking about difficult things. When you're not, you know, it's just really just going to expose what's really going on behind the scenes, I guess.
Yeah, you're right. I don't know. Again, it's just one of those like unfortunate realities, and it just they just don't look good. They don't look good, but it is what it is, man. There's nothing we can really do about it, obviously, other than discuss it and express our feelings about it, you know, and such. Okay. Anyway, I did want to. Do you guys have anything else before we move on?
Nope.
No, I'm good.
All right. What's up, True Bleed? All right. So, Palworld.
Game of the
What the
year,
fuck is going on?
2024.
Like I
Yo.
know, Singer mentioned it last week, and I was like, "Oh, cool, okay." And like, you know, I didn't realize that it was some kind of fucking cultural shift. It's some kind of fucking phenomenon, dude. But Palworld has taken over my timeline. Uh, apparently the bots are claiming this is one of their own. I'm not sure why. I mean, I know why, but I'm not sure why. You know what I'm saying? So it's led to some conversations. Erica, I think they got on Erica for mentioning something about first person, third person. I don't fucking know. Like I don't know at this I don't know at this point. You know what I'm saying? Like they have been going back and forth with people when it comes to these fucking games, and it's just nonstop. It never ends, you know. And I still have not seen any gameplay for this game. Like I just haven't bothered searching it out. So I know that
Palworld.
yeah, I haven't seen
Yeah,
any.
Palworld is it's like a mix of a bunch of games. It's a mix of art, survival, Pokemon. It's like a bunch of a lot of stuff. It's real janky, but if you're into survival games,
It's better now.
Oh, it's gotten better.
Yeah, they put out a couple updates since it launched, and it's better now. But the bots are treating this like the ponies is treating Baldur's Gate, and both are equally as stupid because neither one of them were made by the people that you're cheering for. So it's fucking irrelevant. I think Xbox got it for a year or something. That's what I heard was floating around. Whether or not that's true is irrelevant because by that time, if Palworld doesn't keep putting shit out, no one's gonna care. Like I play it with my family, just like I did Valheim. It filled up that gap for me. So I have probably, I don't know, 35 or something hours, 40 hours somewhere in it. But it's one of them games you pick up, you'll play for a while until you get tired of it, and then you won't play for it until they update something.
Well,
I got tired of it pretty quickly because I played it for like an hour, if that, and I was like, okay, uninstall, because it just ain't for me.
It gets the one for you, but for me, it was the shit because when they first showed it off years ago at the Xbox show, I was like, Pokemon with guns, and I'd be saying out the timeline, and no one really paid attention. Everyone was focused on the other games. Another year happened, it showed up. Again, no one paid attention to it. All of a sudden, now everyone pays attention to it, and it's like adult Pokemon with guns, and he's so much fun. Like we shout to everyone in the Discord that I play with. We managed to get a dedicated server, so all of us are on that.
Which are
trash. No. The thing is,
dedicated servers are garbage.
We're not using the Palworld servers. Public servers.
Oh, okay.
We're using you could pay for someone to host the server. You know those hosting companies, whatever. But either way, like the server's amazing. It is just the most fun thing ever. The game is so in depth. Like there's so many different mechanics that you have to get hold of. Like the whole breeding system is an entire thing in of itself. The survival aspects are there, and it's hilarious. But eventually, everything gets automated because you can make your pals do all the work for you. So obviously, you can have an assembly line. You could get them all making it. You could get them mining for you, work them like work slaves, and then when it's time for
So you
feeding
like
time,
that slave simulator, huh?
Slaves, huh? Mm-hmm.
well, I mean,
I'm not gonna, you can capture people, so yes,
Yes,
Yes.
slavery.
1,000%.
Yes, it is slavery.
1,000%.
But the thing is, like with the pals, see, this is where the breeding comes in because the breeding is an exceptional system. Because if you don't like the trait, you could just kill it and then feed it to the rest of your pals, right, who are working.
That includes
So-
people.
Yes,
So you
you
can
keep-
butcher the people. So you can
Yep.
capture them and then you
Mhm.
can butcher them.
Yep,
Now
and
it
then
blurs
feed
it out, but you can butcher them nonetheless.
The thing is, it's an efficient system. Might not be on your moral compass, but if you're
Might not.
struggling, what?
How about definitely not?
It might not, but it's fantastic how in depth it is. You're going around capturing all these pals, and you're like, okay, I need a male and a female. And the best part about breeding is it's not RNG. So it's literally number based because each pal has a number, and then you combine these two to create this one. And then once you figure out the formula, which two pals you need to create which pal, it's set in stone, so you never have to guess. So you're like, okay, this one and this one makes this. I need this. So now you could get around because some of the pals are like level 40 and you're like level 20. But you could breed those pals, so you don't have to go out and capture them.
Jez in the chat wants to know: can you breed humans?
No.
No.
It says whenever you capture a human that capturing humans is not okay and is generally frowned upon. It's considered inhumane, but it lets you do it over and over again. It definitely it says it like in the flavor text. It is considered inhumane, but you can keep
Don't do
capturing them.
this, but you can do it.
12 years of pals is pretty
And then you can sacrifice them because in order to make pals stronger, you have to sacrifice the same type to make yours stronger. So I just captured like 150 people, and then I sacrificed them for one guy with a gun. It was glorious, but not okay. Well, I didn't capture them all. My kids did. I assigned them to do that. But still, you could just sacrifice all these people like they're praying to the Pokemon altar. It's hilarious.
The game is so much fun, and this reason it caught on is because it's essentially Pokemon, but you're not the goody two shoes. Like everything is, it's obscenely horrible, but that's what I guess made it click is because it's a survival game with Pokemon aspects. And
You're like, I really resonate with the breeding and slavery aspect of it. I'm like, oh,
well,
cool.
yeah,
cool.
because
Okay, hold on one second. Hold on. So shout out to Kenneth Williams becoming a scum lord. Appreciate you, my boy. Thank you so much with the Sasuke icon. Very nice. I mean, I'm gonna keep it real for you. I know it's just a game, but just hearing you say breed over and over again is just like really, I don't know, man. I'm feeling a little, I don't know. I still, how do I feel? Because I think it's how you feel.
The thing is,
Slightly disturbed, but still, for the most part, a lot of disinterest for this game in actually playing it.
I'll describe it differently. I don't know than Singer because I don't do the breeding part. My wife does that, so she likes that, like making them make babies and stuff type of stuff. I just go around and kill the strongest stuff or capture it. That's what I do. My son, he just likes killing everything on the map, and my daughter, she likes building stuff. So it's like Ark, except for you got Pokemon. But if you like the game like Ark, where you go and you capture things, put them to sleep, and then make them your own, that's more or less what this is. The second part of it is the Valheim aspect, where you just build a base that's self-sustaining. in a way. So if you like either of those games, then you'll like this game. If either of those games wasn't for you, you won't care about this game in the slightest.
No,
The breeding part,
it's-
I don't care about that. It's a way to get stronger stuff, but I can just go kill it and capture it myself. So I don't care about that
The
part.
thing is, though, the thing is, you should though, because like the Lambo, right? We captured a legendary, obviously, jet dragon. Thing is, if you breed it, it can transfer the legendary trait down to its offspring, so you can make like the chickpea have the legend trait and is so absurdly strong compared to everything else.
But here's
you
the thing,
can make.
right?
Go on.
I agree. I know that you can do that. You can transfer all the super strong traits to the cheapest Pokemon, pals, whatever you want to call them, and make them strong. The problem is that in order to do that, it takes real world hours. That's the thing I hated about Arc, is it takes real world hours. I don't have real world hours to wait for an egg to hatch. I don't have real world hours to make one cake, because it takes like 40 minutes to make a cake. Just putting it in the damn thing and telling the Pokemon to make it. Those, I will never get that time back. I can just go capture one, and if the thing I'm going to use to fight it is going to be strong, or I'm going to shoot it, or I'm going to shoot a rocket launcher at it. Whatever it is, I don't need to spend hours and upon hours making eggs in order to do that. I can just go do it. So that's what I'm going to do.
But this is the thing, that's why you have multiple people. And bear in mind, if you have a pal with kindling level 4, making the
It still
cakes
takes
is really,
20
really
minutes.
No,
It still takes 20 minutes. It still takes 20 minutes. That is a real
it
thing.
doesn't,
I
it doesn't feel
have,
like 20 minutes.
what are the birds that I have kindling level 4? It takes 20 minutes. So or the dragon, and it takes 20 minutes. So either way, like I said, that's way too much real world time to do shit that I can just do myself in 5 minutes.
The hatching the eggs though doesn't take as long. It's like if you meet the conditions, because like if it's an ice egg, you have to keep it cold. If it's a fire egg, you have to make sure there's a fire next to it.
And it
to
still
steam
takes
it.
20 minutes, right? 20, sometimes 30. Even if you put it next to a fire, put it next to a cooler, any of those things, it still takes 20 minutes, right? That's too much damn time.
It's like 5 minutes. Either way, but bear in mind, you're not sat there just watching the eggs, right? You go to the incubators, you throw the eggs in, you sort them out, and then you run off and do other things, and then you come back eventually when everything's ready to hatch.
Too much time.
But this
babysitting,
but-
I don't have time.
No. But this is why this is why you have 10 people in the server, right? Because you ain't got to worry about that, because everyone's off doing their building. Either doing the hilarious thing about the breeding is, why do you need cake? What's so special about cake? But whatever. But it's a hilarious game, and the guns just running around with missile launchers are strapped onto your pals, and you just run around and just start murdering everything. It's hilarious, and it's a fantastic game. You can even play it solo. Like it's a great game solo, so you don't necessarily need friends.
I would never play it solo, but that's just me.
I got
again,
a solo world, and
this game is gonna go away in like 2 months.
I hope
Unless
so.
it keeps getting updated.
It's not.
It'll
Though.
stay around. No, it'll stay around
No.
for a while, because Arc did. Arc didn't go away, even though it didn't add nothing new for like 8 months. But
you see,
I
it's
got
gonna
a question
stay
for both
around.
of you, because I didn't play long enough to find this out for myself. I've seen some pictures, but I can't tell if this like people trolling or not. How close are some of these pals in identical to Pokemon?
They're identical with a shading off a little. Like,
okay, so they're getting sued. It's just a matter of
no,
time.
they're not getting sued. If they were going to get sued, they would have already got sued.
Mm-hmm.
The way Nintendo's legal team works, and considering they're both Japanese companies and there's no fair use, they're not going to get sued. If they were going to get sued, they would have already got sued.
Yeah,
They're going to come after the people that's making mods before they come after the company making the game.
That's true. So the Pokemon companies made a statement. They said, we've received many inquiries regarding another company's game released in 2024. We have not granted any permission for the use of Pokemon intellectual property or assets in that game. We intend to investigate and take appropriate measures to address any acts that infringe on intellectual property rights related to Pokemon. So,
I
Yeah,
mean,
they gonna say that, but they're not gonna.
they are gonna say that.
But why would they stop a mod but not stop
Because the
Pocket
mod,
Pair?
the mod was actual Pokemon, so it made
Yep.
all of the Pokemon actual Pokemon,
Mhm.
as opposed to the variants of Pokemon that are in Palworld. So it made them actual Pokemon, made all the trainers actual Pokemon trainers, use their names and likenesses. So the variance is why they're not going to sue them. It's wide enough to where they don't have the legal ramifications to sue them, because there's billions of knockoffs of everything in Japan and China and all those Eurasian companies. So it's not close enough for them to have the legal grounds to sue them, especially considering they're both Japanese companies. But when the mods put in actual Pokemon, they can sue those people. So that they'll snatch those people down real fast. They're not going to sue the company. Otherwise, they would have already done it.
To your question, they already put out a roadmap for what they're going to do. Because PvP is going to be hilarious. Pal Arena, which is PvP for Pokemon Arena, essentially. That's going to be hilarious. Steam Xbox crossplay, of course, you're going to bring that in. Server transfers, new islands. Because if you notice when you load the game, it gives you a choice of one island, but you can see where they have ready to insert other islands. So they could release more maps, and I'm assuming it's just going to get even more people involved when there's PvP, for example. Because now you can have guilds versus guilds, or like warfare, everyone just murdering each other, and it's fantastic. So, I mean, the game is only going to get more popular if these updates come quickly, because, well, everyone loves fighting other people.
That's the part I'm not privy on. I don't think that they're going to come quickly.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking that this game was going to die a quick death because of some of the because there was a lot of similarities, but the more and more I got into it and played, I was like, oh yeah, this game gonna last as long as the content comes out, because yeah, as long as content comes out for it, this game's gonna last, because I don't think Nintendo's gonna do anything on that end. There is a little there. Even though it looks egregious for some of the stuff, I don't think it's enough for them to make a move like that. But on top of that, man, we got some of my employees at the store got a farming system going on where they literally are in the game, and man, it's crazy. Like listening to what you guys were just talking about with the herding of people. It's like it's real. I seen a farm system going on in my store. They opened up their laptop and they had their fortress or what they like to call it, their domicile, and literally had just a whole bunch of people ready to be sacrificed to the cause.
Facts.
It was crazy.
Like you can have 3 bases per, like, what is it called? Per banner. I forget what the clan.
Guild.
Yeah, per clan.
Guild, clan, guild, right? So you got 3 bases per guild. So one of them I have is just a mining base. So it's just where rocks and you mine it, because that's what you're gonna need for armor and guns and all that. I have one that's just farms, and it has like people digging up stuff, and then milk and eggs, and that's where she's doing all the breeding. And then a one I made, and it's literally up on the mountain, and it just has people in it that I went and stole, and I just filled them with the base. They don't even do nothing. They all have guns, and they just get raided. I put it in the most central location, so they keep getting raided, so that they just have to fight forever. That's the only purpose of it. It has no other purpose. It shouldn't exist, but it's funny to me. And I just watched them fight and die over and over and over again.
It is hilarious. It is hilarious what
That part is
this
fun.
kinds of stuff you can pull off. Like I just find automating everything is fun because I built the control tower and you can have them unbalanced. You can overwork all the pals. Naturally, you crank it up to overwork, right? And you make sure they have enough saunas and beds and
then they
food
just die.
and whatnot. And then they just die. And then that's the great thing about the breeding system is because the weak ones will die off, and then the ones with better traits can take their place. So now you have a whole bunch of pals running around the base with some of the best traits in the game, and you just keep the system going until eventually all your pals are just rock solid. And then when a raid comes, comes up on the screen, a raid's coming. I just sit back, watch, and let them get to work.
You know,
All of my. Go ahead.
I was gonna say this game reminds me of what Pikmin would be if you had guns and you could tell things what to do.
Pretty close.
Like when I saw this game, I was like, "Yo, this is like literally a very hardcore version of Pikmin."
Yep, that's pretty cool. Like I have the base that I have all of the people, the guys, the humans in, like because you can go steal like merchants too. So I have merchant slaves, but like I have all the humans in there, and I have the little thing in there, and it is on work harder. So they are constantly depressed. They have ulcers. It is. I did that on purpose. I did that very purposefully.
They're depressed.
Yes, they get depressed. They get ulcers. One of them got back pain. One of them's an overeater. Like they have very real problems, and I put them in there on purpose because they was out here just stabbing little cute animals. So therefore, since you're out here poaching, I'm gonna put you in this base and I'm gonna work you like a slave. You out here poaching, just like the people who go trophy hunting. I want to do the same shit to them. So I just got to do it in this game.
Man. It is pretty crazy. It is pretty crazy how I didn't even like when I first played the game.
Got
I didn't
issues
know.
with it. Yeah, I'm just saying, y'all got issues.
No,
something's not right with y'all.
It's just wild, bro. It's wild the stuff they like. I think it's just more
something's not right.
Let you do it.
I'm just picturing Mass just doing the evil villain laugh, watching his humans, right? I picture Singer with a whip, just whipping his pals and forcing them to breed, and then I listen to Forte over here giggling about everything that they're talking about. I'm just like, all three of y'all are sick.
Hey man,
no. It's the game puts you in a position.
Yes, Singer. Yes,
No.
You can't tell me what to think or say, Singer. I'm not one of your slave pals, okay?
It's a necessity.
It's not a
Yeah, this is
necessity.
definitely an interesting conversation. I'm not
I'm
gonna lie.
doing this.
I'll be right back.
Yes, Maslin. I like it. I'm gonna do that. That's what I'm gonna name my next character. I'm gonna name him Maslin.
My name's Masculine.
I'm gonna name him Maslin.
Thing is, Slomo, would you rather do all the mining, the chopping the wood, the gathering the ore, the doing the farming yourself? Do you want to really do that? Spend the game doing that, or would you rather be off kidnapping people and killing shit? Right. So you would rather kidnapping.
Those are my options.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Those are your options.
That's why I'm not playing this game.
You can catch I guess.
See, like I like aspects of those kind of things, and say like Frostpunk, for example. Like Frostpunk 2 is coming out this year. The first Frostpunk, it's like a post-apocalyptic setting. The whole world has frozen over, and like you're leading the survivors to try to survive, and like you start off in like this crater, and there's definitely ways that you can go about it. Like you can create your own religion and have people worshiping you, or you could just be like just trying to help people survive and be a leader. And you do have to encourage people to get to work. You do have, but there's checks and balances to it. It's not just I'm an evil warlord, slave master, and they have to do my bidding.
They have. If they don't, they start dying.
Yeah, but in Frostpunk, like, can your pals revolt against you and hang you?
No,
No,
they
see,
just won't
in
do anything.
Frostpunk,
They just won't
that
do
is
anything.
that you could be executed if you are not like treating people correctly or leading them well. You'll get a knife in the middle of the night and hey, there's a new leader in charge, like that kind of thing. And like I like that there's a balance to it because it forces you, like in real life, because there's consequences to your action. There's accountability, and the accountability is you get a bullet in the head if you're not out here, treating people correctly. And so in this is just, it just seems like I fully expect to see some little young white kid streaming this on Twitch, like using all kind of coded language because he can't say the words he want to say while he's whipping and treating humans like actual slaves, and it's going to be something that people will absolutely do when you put it in there like that, and you have zero checks and balances to make it so that like it's not just that easy.
Hey, Mass, I have an idea.
What?
Here we go.
The next depressor I'm going to catch, I'm going to call slow-mo. That's what I'm feeling right now, the energy.
Look, the game. Now there ain't no like real consequences other than the fact that they'll stop working and then they'll pass out and they'll just all be laying down on the floor. Which I've come back to a base where everybody's just laying on the floor. And then you had to put new people in there and sacrifice all those people who was laying on the floor. But like the way this game works like Pokemon, except for you capture people, the guns part is secondary in all reality. Because like at the beginning of the game, you're just gonna run around and you're just gonna capture them all. That was my initial. I just wanted to catch them all. Like I wanted to be the very best, like no one ever was. Wait, that's sorry, I couldn't do that. That's not the same thing. It's not the same thing.
Yes,
it's different. I wanted to catch them all though. That's initially how it worked. And then I saw these thugs or whatever they're called, or the religious people. There's thugs, right, with guns, and they just going around killing all the animals. And I immediately pictured, when you see those like trophy hunters where they got like a lion's head up and they're all smiling, and that shit pissed me off. So I was like, all right, cool.
So
I can capture you, and that's what I did.
Sorry to interrupt. I'm not back yet because I still have to grab my stuff. Singer, you do realize that there are social implications of saying that you're going to name something after slow-mo, something that you can like enslave and starve and kill and breed after like a black man, right? Like you're aware that they're like
I am aware. I am aware.
The implication.
And he's still going to do it.
No.
I listen. I understand. Hold on. I understand we're all joking around or whatever, but I personally don't find stuff like that funny myself. So I just wanted to address that before I left. I don't think stuff like that's funny. I don't think that was a good joke myself. But that's just me. So I'll be right back.
Well, in the context of that, there is that. But if you know the memes about Depresso the Pal, it's more metaphorical, as in the Mass knows who Depresso is. You've got to have seen Depresso the Pal, right? So
it's what he does or how he does it, I guess is what
yes.
I'm trying to say. But
yes.
I see both sides of the equation. But as I was saying, the reason I started enslaving all these people and putting them in there in the work camps was because, like I said, when I saw it, all I thought about was all those trophy hunters that be out there just killing stuff for no reason in the wild, and it pissed me off. So I was like, I'm going to catch all these people and throw them in a work camp and make them just work because I don't care. I don't have no feelings, so it doesn't matter to me.
Well, you guys, I hope you guys enjoy your game. It's
gonna last. It's gonna last until there's no more content, and then it's gonna go away.
I saw some people trying to put this game in the game of the year conversation, which I thought was kind of hilarious. Yeah, that's not happening. This game will likely be nominated for like multiplayer game of the year or indie game of the year or something like that. But like,
early access, it's not even fully released yet. So
there you go. So like, yeah, but actually it won't. But even when it's fully like full released, it's not going to be a part of that conversation even then too.
Close.
It should be game of the year, but it's not.
No.
It should not be game of the year, Singer. It
had a lot of issues. Well, they fixed most of those issues. Like if you were playing like the Game Pass version, there wasn't even a quit button. Like you couldn't quit the game.
Yeah.
For like the first like 4 days or something. There wasn't even a quit button. So to say it's game of the year and it didn't even let you stop playing the game, nah, not so much.
The people who are saying this also are like people who only own Xboxes. They don't have PCs. So it's funny because I looked at Digital Foundry's video about it, and the game, like performance-wise, can't stick to 60 FPS if it tried. It's just the only way the way it stays at 60 frames per second is if you look up in the sky. And I'm just like,
I know all the issues inside of this.
Yeah, I'm like, good grief. There's just no way that's going to be.
I know nothing about the plebeian side of this, but on PC it works like any other early access game, and since my PC is powerful, it works fine for me. I don't have any of those runnability issues. It's a lot of quality of life stuff that I had an issue with at the beginning. Now I don't have so much of that, but there's still things like evolutions. Those don't actually exist. You can capture them, but you can't actually evolve anything. So like you can capture some evolved versions or alternate versions of things, but you can't actually evolve anything. So
the shinies, probably.
Yeah, the luckies. That's what they're called. They're not shinies. They're luckies. But
okay, we call them shinies.
Alpheas, like I said, there's a lot of similarities to stuff in Pokemon, and unless the content stream is constant, this game is gonna die real fast.
And that's probably all depending on how quickly Pocket Pair can actually deliver on that. Which
that's why I said
There's only 50 of them, right?
Yeah, that's why I said I'm not hopeful on them being able to deliver it fast. Even like PvP will get another like buff of people, but then the public servers will end up just like on Arc, where everybody just griefs, and then you gotta worry about them putting in griefer restrictions and all this other bullshit, and they're not gonna do that out the gate, and it's gonna jump and then die real fast again because people are gonna hate playing on PvP servers. Then they're gonna have to make PvP only servers. It's gonna be a lot of shit that I don't think they know they're gonna run into, even though other games have put in these similar systems, and it was a problem from day one. The only difference is it performs better than Arc did as far as how the game runs. It performs better than most of the other games in its genre, how it runs, at least on PC, day one.
I mean, the game will just live because it's an interesting take on, and the only people upset at the game are the Pokemon fanatics. But outside of those people, most people they're enjoying the game. It's clearly selling super well, so people are in love with it. Twitch streamers are all over it, so it'll live for some time.
It came out at the right time. Nothing else
it did come out. Well, I mean, it came out at the right time. Plus, also, it turns out that it was actually, rather fun. Survival game.
To play right now.
Well, yeah, and the sales showed it. Like it was 1 million every day, and then it last reported 8 million. They'll probably report like 9 million tomorrow or something. So it's gonna be good, and it is a game you should try because it's only 30. So, and Steam's refund policy is excellent. So even if you don't like it, just make sure it's under 2 hours. Boom, straight away, job done. Actually, to be honest, you could leave it longer than 2 hours because you could just say that there were some bugs in the game, and you could generally get away with it with Steam. So, yeah. Give it a try.
Palworld currently has 1 million people playing it right now
Well, yeah. I mean, it was higher than that
on
earlier.
Steam. On Steam alone.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It was higher than that earlier. They were at like 1,700,000 or whatever. So it's a phenomenon, and it's a great way to start the year. So
I do hope one thing though, because remember, every time we get a game that does this, then we get 5,000 clones of that game for the rest of the fucking year. Please don't do that. Please, please don't do that. Pretty please with sugar on top. Don't do that. Because like when PUBG
That's
came
gonna
out,
happen.
then we got Fortnite's and up, like everything was that game for the next year. And whatever that flash in the pan is, always
I'm about to
starts
buy it
to
right
rain.
now.
Granted though,
Please don't.
Fortnite is better than PUBG.
1,000%.
Yeah. And then I think PUBG is still going, of course, but like I mean,
Yeah, PUBG
there's
trying
a
to make
lot.
a resurgence.
All right, I'm about to buy this game on
Apex
Steam
Legends
right now.
as well,
Palworld?
and
Yep. I've been playing it on the Xbox
Game
store,
Pass.
but yeah, Game Pass. I'm about to just buy it on Steam because it's the better version. They got they're up to date on patches for the PC.
Right. In the
Yeah.
Game Pass version, you can. It's only like 4 people to a server or some stupid shit.
Yeah,
like
it's some stupid stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
So I'm purchasing it right now.
you need to get it on Steam because we have a dedicated server, as I said, and
Oh, well, you got to make sure I get in there.
well, you'll have to
I know.
join the server and whatnot.
Slow-mo,
and,
you coming with us?
no.
that.
He's not playing it.
Slow-mo's like, no.
No.
Slow-mo plays everything.
I tried it. No, I try everything. What I don't like, I don't play no more. I tried it.
Thought you would like it.
Well, I don't like survival games, and I also don't like Pokemon. So
Yeah,
it's just like that.
Right. Those are the two things that this game is.
Yeah.
Those are
So-
literally the two things this game is.
It's basically a guarantee I wasn't going to like this.
It's a Pokemon survival game.
Yep.
There's a the opposite alley of slow.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, for sure.
The new season of Diablo come up.
It's already out.
It's already out. I heard it's horrible.
Yeah, it's horrible. Lots of people quit.
Let me download it so I can join in whether or not it's horrible. I've been playing Palworld with my family, so I haven't played it. I haven't played Diablo in a month.
Well, see, I'm juggling Palworld and Like a Dragon at Infinite Wealth right now. Fantastic game, by the way. But thoroughly deserves its 90 rated. But yeah, Palworld is. I would definitely have to get you in 40 because it is what it is. But Palworld is just so much fun, despite
games I
the
can
things you can do.
juggle and go away from. Like I'm playing Palworld and I'm playing City Skylines 2 because I just felt like building a city. There wasn't really no reason. I play that in spurts and then I never play it for like months on end. But and then I'm finishing my semi-annual playthroughs of Mass Effect.
Jeff, Palworld won't die in a couple of weeks because this is PC. And PC doesn't care for the most part. They play games that the console people would never play in their life, like CS:GO, CS2 now, I guess, and all these other games. So Palworld resonates more so with the PC base than the console
not even
base.
What's the next game that's coming out? What's the next big game that's come out?
The next big game,
And
nothing. Well, I mean, Tekken.
That's
came
how
out.
long Palworld's gonna last. Until the next big end something comes out. That's how long Palworld's gonna last.
Yeah,
Final Fantasy VII Rebirth at the end of February.
No.
I just don't agree with you guys.
Palworld. That's not going to affect Palworld. That's only PlayStation only. I ain't going to do nothing. So what would affect Palworld? Tekken didn't do it. Yeah, like you need a big game that gets the majority.
Yeah, Tekken's
Yeah, exactly. So
Final Fantasy is for PlayStation only. That's why I said the next big game. So until that happens, Palworld's going to be just fine because there's nothing else to play.
And even then, it'll still do fine.
Even then, it's gonna be fine because
as long as they're putting out content, yeah. If they put out
because the
content,
platform, because I said as long as they put out content, because the platform that Palworld is not on is on PlayStation, and those people will just go play PlayStation.
Yep.
See, Leaky said Grand Blue Fantasy. I'm looking forward to it, but that's
not
not going to
big
do
enough.
anything on
That's not big
Steam.
either.
Yeah,
Nope.
I mean, look, I'm playing that day one, but I know that's not going to get
I just,
8 million people in a
yeah,
week.
nothing's getting
I don't
this,
know
bro.
why anybody. I don't know why you think it's gonna die. I don't get that.
It's not gonna
Like,
die, bro.
like
That game
people,
will die.
people still play
maybe-
PUBG, you know. So it's just like, even though Fortnite is out.
Well, when
so.
I say die, I mean it's not going to get 500,000 people playing it a day. Well, it's already over 1 million right now, but that's going to drop after people get tired of it. But it's not going to maintain that high level after something big comes out, because all the streamers that are doing free publicity are going to jump onto whatever that new thing is, because that's how they work. And once that happens, the people that follow them are going to follow them to whatever that thing is. Now, will they come back to Palworld? Maybe. It depends on how much they keep putting out actual content, because in 3 months, people are going to catch them all, or they're going to breed them all. Like, there's only so much you can do in this game, so they need to put out content. Otherwise, making another farm is not going to be as fun in 3 months as it is right now. Once they have caught all the Pokemon or pals, whatever, and bred all the things, 18,000 Pokemon that they can breed, people will just stop playing, because there's nothing else to do. If there's nothing else to do, there's nothing else to do. They need to put out content, otherwise the game will die, because there's a finite end to having to catch them all.
Yep, that's why they need to bring out immediately new pals. Well, they already said the new pals, the new bosses, the new maps.
Yeah.
They need to bring out the raids. Then they also need to bring out the PvP and the pal PvP, because PvP is going to be hilarious, because I'm going to make sure I have the most jacked out team thanks to breeding. See, this is where I'll win in PvP, right? Because a lot of people won't bother with that system. And then I'll just come over and ruffle stomp them, because I'm just stronger. So,
but if it comes out, if PvP comes out, because they're supposed to let you do server migrations and all that stuff too, that's all on the roadmap. So PvP comes out in 5 months, everybody's gonna have the same Pokemon with the same legend stats. They're gonna have legend, burly body. Everybody's gonna have the same ones with the same things.
You'd say that,
because it's 5 months later. They have to keep putting out actual things to catch and more breeding combinations. Like, those are the things that are going to keep the game fresh, because once people catch them all, like I said, once people catch them all and they fill up their PAL decks, it's done.
Their PAL decks.
That's what.
Yeah, but I like I said, I don't think that's going to happen. I think that they will continue to come out with content, and it will continue being a thing that people play. Maybe not to the same effect and with the same amount of people, but I don't think it's going anywhere personally. The way this game came out of fucking nowhere. And again, I still have not seen any gameplay. I have no idea what this game looks like, right? I might check out Slave Simulator. I'll have to think about it. So
it's free on Game Pass.
I mean,
oh, okay.
Yeah, it's on Game Pass. It's free as fuck.
Oh,
so you ain't even got to pay for it.
I mean, I already got 40, so I mean, add Luca to the collection of people in the server. We can have a 15 strongman team ready for.
You over here collecting gamers like you collecting your pals,
I didn't
man.
want to say nothing. I tried to.
When you got Forte, now I'm about to get Luca.
Who's next?
And I tried to let him
out
go.
here catching bodies, bro. You know what? I thought it was terrible in Code of the Lamb when you named your characters and sacrificed them to the
crack
greater good.
cocaine simulator.
Now we got this game where they literally is telling you to go out there and say, yeah, you know what? We're gonna put that in the flavor text that this ain't good. It's definitely ain't humane, but you can definitely do it.
Once you catch your first person, like the first person I caught was literally when you spawn, you come out and there's a person right there, and they're like, hey, this world is dangerous. Here, take this. And they give you stuff, and I caught them. That was the very first person I didn't catch no Pokemon. I caught a person.
He said, you got anywhere you got to be? Because you ain't going there.
I started punching that man, and then I caught him, and then I got a wanted level, and I got shot up, but he was still in my team.
Oh man.
Because I was like, yo, you got a shotty. Maybe I could beat you up and take your shotty. That was my thought process. I was like, I'm gonna give you the hands and I'm gonna get your shotty.
Wow, bro.
Then I was like, ooh, can I catch you? I threw a ball, and the very first ball caught that man.
You can also use powers as weapons, like for example, the ones it's like a fluffy zebra-looking thing. You can shoot fire out its mouth when you're riding it, and you can also the lily punk, that little like grass wrap-looking thing, and you could use it.
Machine gun.
Yeah, submachine gun,
It's
and
it's
it's just
the SMG.
Yep. And I'm like, yo, this is the wildest thing ever. And now that's the earliest PAL weapon you can get. And it is. Ooh,
Okay,
the game
well,
is so much fun.
I'll check out the Slave Simulator on Game Pass.
I'm gonna check that out on Game Pass.
The thing is, though, Luca, you're not wrong, because that is what it is. That is the game.
I'm here for it.
That's what Pokemon is too. So.
Yeah, that is what
I've been
Pokemon
saying
is.
it about Pokemon for years. It's a slave
Pokemon
simulator.
is a slave game. Because
These Pokemon were just minding their business, and then you just came around, threw a ball at them, captured them, and then you make them stay in that ball unless you're cute and you know, cuddly, and then you get to be a little pet that they like just, you know, play around with all the time. But otherwise, they force you to fight your own brethren.
Yeah, exactly.
It's slavery.
Pokemon
it's
is
what it
really
is.
Here's the
None
thing.
of them have their own names or nothing. They all Pikachus or Pikachus.
That's true.
Like you can't call
But
them Bob.
like, there's still like all the Nurse Joys and all the oh my god, what's the cop's name? Jenny? I don't
What
fucking
are
know.
you talking about?
Talking about
Police
Pokemon.
officer. That's the police officer, Jenny. Officer
Yeah,
Jenny.
like they all have the same name and they all look the same. So it's not just the Pokemon, it's the humans
facts.
too.
It's
Which I think brings into this concept of human cloning. Okay, we all saw that Pokemon movie growing up with Mewtwo, right? Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. So anyway, I did want to say, Brian, as soon as you add like a sexual element to something, it automatically takes on a different meaning. At least for me, morally speaking, right? Because like, yeah, like as soon as you add the sexual element, it's just like, okay, it just changes things. It's a different beast. You know what I'm saying? So that's why Crack Cocaine Simulator, aka Cult of the Lamb, is different from Slavery Simulator, aka Palworld. Because if I was like breeding folks up in Crack Cocaine Simulator, I don't know if I would have been playing that. I'm gonna keep it real with you. So anyway, we can just move on from that.
You could have multiple wives in Cult of the Lamb. Now that I think about it,
Okay, so
yeah.
sorry. When you talk about breeding, there is a sexual assault element to it. That's what I'm referring to. I'm not talking about. I'm not talking about consensual relationships between you and your mini concubine. You and you're a fucking, what is it? Polygamist in that game? Is that what it is?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
So I'm talking about sexual assault. Okay. So thank you. Anyway, is there anything else you guys want to talk about?
No.
Not Power no more.
No.
Something else.
Our world happened. Xbox sucks. It's pretty much what's going on in gaming.
All right.
Someone pointed in the chat about the breeding thing. Bear in mind, you've been able to do that since the dot in Pokemon. So it's the exact same principle. The only difference is you just put two animals into like this enclosure and you don't even see anything. And so it's the exact same thing as Pokemon. So
I would hope so.
They
didn't animate the running.
No, yeah, they just walk around in a circle in the circle.
Also, when I haven't played Pokemon since I was a kid, so I wasn't thinking about the implications of me breeding these fucking creatures or the fact that it's slavery. Okay, I wasn't thinking about that growing up. So, We just move.
I've known Pokemon was slavery for a long time, but I'm gonna catch them all though.
How would
I gotta win, so it's just my need to win.
I feel like we were different ages when we were playing Pokemon. You know what I'm saying? So, different
time
levels
frames.
of awareness. You know.
Sure, time frames.
All right, so shout out to Yobi saying, question for the panel. First and foremost, thank you all. Appreciate you seeing you back here. Between Marvel, DC, and Star Wars, what villain would you like to see get their own M-rated video game? Would love to see Gore the God Butcher. Ooh, Thanos, Darth Vader, or Doctor Doom. Thank you. Peace, love, life.
It depends on how deep they go into the Doctor Doom story. Because Doctor
I could
Doom
see
has
Dr. Doom.
basically like
Doctor Doom's pretty cool.
he's done like parts of everybody who's also listed other than Vader. Well, no, because he kind of had psychic powers. So he's had the glove. Like he's done parts of everybody else listed. So it depends on how deep they go into the Doom story.
Oh, that would be awesome, Brian. Brian said Deadpool kills the Marvel Universe. Okay, that would be a fucking awesome game. That would be so cool.
I'm gonna go with Mr. Sinister, just because if you know Mr. Sinister's history, he's got a lot of history with like Gambit, the Summers family, Cyclops, Havoc, Jean Grey, the Goblin Queen, aka Madeline Pryor, Cable, all like there's so much wrapped up in it I think that would be pretty cool. But they would really be able to do that until they introduce X-Men into the MCU. But I think that would be a pretty cool game. That'd be but not necessarily have you play as Mr. Sinister, but more of like he's the villain that everyone's trying to take down. But
that'd be dope.
Okay, yeah, I don't know anything about Star Wars really, like even like nothing about the lore like that. So
I'm gonna keep it a buck, even with the good Star Wars game that we have, or decent at least. No one cares about Darth Vader. Keep it
who's I forgot the blue guy that everyone likes. The villain. He showed up in the season they just did of. Damn it! What is the name of the Star Wars girl? She's a Jedi. Who used to be a Jedi.
You don't know the name of anything, honestly.
I know. He's a General something. He showed up at the end. Who's that, Mass? No, I'll find it. But like,
Thrawn?
Thrawn. There it is. Thrawn. Thank you.
He's an admiral, though. He's an admiral.
Admiral. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, but like anything with him, Star Wars fans tend to eat it up. So I think a game with him as the villain would definitely be like a top seller because Star Wars people would be all in on that.
All right, sweet. Thanks, Yobi. So Ronald says, I'm an old school wrestling fan. I was never a fan of Vince McMahon.
Facts.
Vince has more skeletons than Diddy, and he generally gets a slap on the wrist. What are your thoughts of the new allegations surrounding him? He's a nasty freak talking about BBC and 3 holes. All right, so let's start here. Vince McMahon, he's just not as big. He's not as big as Diddy. He's just not. Like wrestling, no matter how popular it is still. I don't want to say niche, but I kind of want to say niche because there's a certain subset of people who watch it, and I say this as someone who used to watch Monday Night Raw every single Monday night. That shit was so fucking awesome growing up. Oh my god. Like Degeneration X. Like, dude, come on. And the Hardy.
Just the Attitude Era. The Attitude Era was the best.
So fucking good.
Best time period.
So fucking good. Like I loved it. But like Vince McMahon's been like a fucking freak for years now, like decades, just doing weird shit, racist shit, sexist shit, like just doing it in the ring, and it was like perfectly fine, Like times were just different back then. Like people were just like vile. and no one said anything about it because it's just kind of like it was just part of the culture at the time, you know what I'm saying? But those things eventually they will start to catch up to you as things change, as the eras adapt, as certain things are not considered palatable any longer. But like Vince McMahon has like been a fucking weirdo. Like he's been a weirdo. So the fact that there's like the allegations are he's got some sex trafficking allegations. Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
No, I thought it was. I don't know. It was like some girl. I don't know if it was sex trafficking.
It says
it could have
he's
been.
It's
he's been
technically
accused.
considered sex trafficking if he's kind of forcing or coercing someone into have sex with other people against their will.
So
And yeah,
accused of sexual assault and trafficking. I'm gonna keep it real for you. I definitely believe he did that shit. I think he did it.
I don't doubt it.
He definitely fucking did it. He's a fucking weirdo. He definitely did that shit. Like he definitely did that shit. You know what I'm saying? So that's just me. That's my perspective on it. But yeah, the reason why it gets a different level of attention is I didn't even know Vince McMahon had been accused of sexual assault and trafficking. I haven't seen any news about that, but the Diddy stuff was like all on my timeline. So
it was like in the last like couple of days, I think.
Yeah.
So Vince McMahon stuff.
And if he had been accused of this stuff back when
there's text messages too, and that he is a disgusting human being.
He is a disgusting human, but he's been disgusting. He's been a sick freak. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know, man. I definitely believe he did that shit. Like you ever, you know the whole thing about waiting for there to be more information. Being mindful of allegations. We all know about that, but I think that he did that shit because he has done weird shit before in public. So
I've seen a lot of shit in my time on this planet, and I read those text messages. I was like, "You nasty bastard!" Like, I've seen a lot of shit in my time on this planet. I've been in plenty of places where things have not been, where actual acts of violence have been going on, and I still read those text messages and like, "You's a disgusting bastard!" Like, and motherfucker, he's a different breed, and he's so nonchalantly too.
I'm gonna read these messages. All right. Oh Lord, Lord. All right. So the messages are like, "I love it. That's you, Janelle. You just can't get enough. Can you? In the future, it's going to be so bad that you will demand to be." Oh, okay. Fuck twice a day and not just with. It's blocked off in a 3-way. Why not let others see that beautiful, voluptuous body and watch you shake uncontrolled?
Wow.
Okay. They'll go out of their minds. Then I'll find more friends and we'll tie you up. Okay. So you're helpless. I'll direct them to have their way any way they want. Who can make you scream the loudest? Maybe I'll just line them up. Oh
shoot!
This shit is
we wild out here. We wild out here.
I told you. I was like,
we wild out here.
What the fuck is happening right now?
Good
like,
God.
He said that shit so nonchalantly, and there's like paragraphs. Like this wasn't like one or two, this wasn't like multiple messages. This was like one long ass message, and there's multiple of these.
Regarding your last picture, you need your panties ripped off and 3 big 3 BBCs in all 3 holes at the same time. Way up your pussycat and up your ass as far as they will go, but even farther.
What are we
The
doing?
thickest goes down
It
your
sounds
throat.
like I'm listening to a fanfic.
So it makes you gag and convulse. Those BBCs pound away. It feels like from the start you're being assaulted, but it made you, nonstop and just one continuous, constant orgasm. And just before you pass out, those BBCs squirt their.
What? Wow.
Oh, it's still going.
We thirsty.
Yes.
He's still going.
This This shit is like a page long. All of them.
Ah,
Oh Lord.
what the fuck? I just passed my phone around to a bunch of guys on the tech crew. They're screaming, "OMG, she's beautiful. Look at that. I'd like to get that." I paused to count out how many guys were there. 12. I said, "Okay, there you 12. She would love to." Okay, I can. Yeah, no, he did. See, he did that shit.
Yeah.
He definitely
Yeah.
did that shit. Him and Diddy were probably hanging out, man. I'm gonna keep it
was at the
fucking
same
above.
damn parties.
They were at the same
damn
parties doing the same
Seems
nasty shit.
very
Fucking
similar.
sick, dude.
Yeah.
Fucking sick bastard, man.
That's
So anyway,
wild, bro.
we just move on from that. But yeah, shout out to you guys. If you guys want to submit topics for the channel so we can discuss them, become a member of the channel, I'd appreciate it. Shout out to all my channel members. Let me go ahead and pull this up. Okay, so shout out to FTW, Kenneth, Corey, and Bandy, Drav, Yobi, Outlaw, Iman, Imar, Damien, Dolo, Tevin, Ronald, Dealer, MJ, Dirk, King Metrotron, Meat Puppet, Scroat, Jarenza, Stone, Kenny, DC, Big Daddy, that guy Smitty, Sub Negro, Jazzy, Dominic, Duck, Sycamore, Zion, Breesky, Light Strive, Pepitio, Nautical, Jet, Envy, Slomo, and Hannibal. Appreciate you guys supporting me in this way. Yeah. Shout out to everyone who listened to the show today. Shout out to everyone who listens later in comments. Yeah.
That's a hell of a way to end the show.
Man.
Yeah. I
Now
just
in your
don't.
head. And now
you
it's
know,
in
All
your head for the
ski
rest of the day.
we all enjoy, you know what, we all enjoy different things.
You should, Lionel, read the rest of it because she also responds in some of them.
She does.
Yes,
Oh, man.
1000%. Her responses are very curt, but she's like, "Yes, baby, I can't wait." I was like,
Wow.
I'm done. Again, I didn't put these messages out. I just read them.
Okay. Okay.
I was like, all right. Everybody, you do you. Do you, boo, do you. That's how I felt. It's a Kevin Hart meme all day long. To each their own.
Wow.
We're all into different things, I guess.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Other than that, oh, real quick, Nicki Minaj has been freaking out for the last 24 hours. Yeah, like she's been, it's really sad growing up, like in high school. I remember when Nicki was first coming out, and I was such a big fan of hers, like that itty bitty piggy. I remember memorizing that with my friend Chelsea. And it was just like, I was like such a big fan of her. I still think she's very talented as a rapper, but I also think she's got some sort of undiagnosed mental health issue, or she's on drugs. Maybe it's a mix of both.
Maybe
She's
it's
fucking
both.
crazy.
Yeah.
She's fucking crazy. She's off her fucking rocker. She's insane. All right. She's been insane for a while. I kind of stopped rocking with her and stopped fucking with her really when she stood by her pedophile brother, and then it turns out she married a rapist. So so she's and then turns out she was like saying and doing some weird shit herself. Like she's just a fucking weirdo in general. So all this stuff with Meg Thee Stallion, I'm very perturbed, mostly because it's just like, dude, you're a rapper. She made like it was a bar. It was one bar in the fucking song. Why don't you just get in the booth and respond in the booth? But no, she's just been tweeting nonstop, threads of text. Was on Instagram Live, fucking babbling about it. 1 foot, 2 foot, blue foot.
That is pretty much what she said.
What we doing? What we doing?
Pretty much what she said.
1 foot, 2 foot, blue foot, Bigfoot, dude. She was tripping. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Thought we were singing. Oh man.
like what? Like what?
Thought we were about to
And
do Beetlejuice or something here.
also, she was like, she did a space where she was acting up as well. She's over here fucking congratulating known white supremacist. Oh my god, what is his name?
It's wild.
Oh my god, I cannot remember his fucking name. Oh Lord, have fucking mercy. That's how much this guy does not matter to me. I just look up Nicki Minaj. He's one of like the really big. I don't know if he's conservative. He's something. YouTubers, and he's Jewish.
Oh, you talking about Shapiro?
Yeah, Ben Shapiro. She's over here congratulating Ben Shapiro rapping with a known fucking racist up in their song or whatever. She's all like, "Oh, that was interesting, Ben." All because Ben said that Nicki was right about Megan, you know? And I'm just like you've just not even had the plot for so long, you know? Like you've just been a fucking weirdo. And honestly speaking, it just goes back down to this. I think that she's got to have some sort of mental health issue, or it's the drugs, or a mix of both, right? Because that behavior is just unhinged, it's weird, and it's unhealthy. And she doesn't have anybody in her corner, obviously, because she surrounds herself with sexual predators, right? But she doesn't have anyone in her corner to be like, Nicki, perhaps you should get off Twitter. You know? She still talks in the same strange cadence where it's just like a very unnatural way to speak. I just think she's fucked up, dude. I think there's just something wrong with her, legitimately. She's over here bringing up Meg Thee Stallion's dead mother and speaking on her name. Fucking just crazy shit, dude. So that's what's happening there. I'm curious. Meg is an anime fan, so she posted an image from Tokyo Ghoul, aka the GOAT. She referenced my boy Kaneki, and read the Tokyo Ghoul manga. Read the Tokyo Ghoul manga, please, right? So, you know, just weird shit going on there. But anyway, we can just move on from that and just leave. Okay.
Hey, Luca, before we leave,
Yes.
could I share something real quick?
Okay,
Oh my
it depends on what is it.
It is a Palworld thing.
Is it going to be something strange?
No, it's not. No, it's not.
All right. Go. You are
She sounds very
replaceable, go back
reluctant
to work.
here.
Oh, okay.
Is
If
that
you
a
wanna
dead
be-
pile on a stick?
You are
Yeah.
recyclable. Go back to
Yes.
work.
Yeah, I mean, follow Pal updates is absolutely hilarious. Some of the best.
Oh, that's the
memes come
training
out from
dummy.
it.
I was like, what the hell is that? Oh, that's the training dummy.
Yeah, it's the training dummy. People have been doing all kinds of things with the training dummy.
Man, that's wild.
But yeah, that's all I wanted to show.
Oh, okay. Just looking at these.
We
Yeah, it's
wilding out
always whenever a singer has something to show, I'm just like, what are you showing me? You know,
It was my son was watching something, and it was one of the streamers or something he watches, and he made his character have like a real big ass, and so one of the people he was playing with put up a bunch of signs, and it was literally just all of the lyrics to Sir Mix-a-Lot. So as you like walked into their base, it was, I like big butts and I cannot lie. And every time you just went forward, each new sign was more of the lyrics until you get to their bedroom.
oh, that's fun. All right, but let's go ahead.
Baby.
Get these. Okay, Mass. Thanks for coming as always.
For sure. You know, when I'm home, I do this.
Thank you. You know, kiss my ass, right?
Facts. You know it's coming. You know.
Exactly.
Kiss my ass. Have a great night. While you're kissing my ass, it's all, you know, you got it. Steps to this. It's levels to this.
All right, Nautical.
Yo, great show. Great to see Matt Maslin here. Shout out to Singer and Slow-Mo. Great week of gaming and great topics to hanging out with the homies this weekend. Enjoy your weekend. Enjoy the games you're playing. We see you guys next week.
All right, Slow-Mo.
Great show. Great chat. Enjoy your games. Play some games for some of you, who don't play games. And I'm out. Peace.
All right, Singer.
Great show. Very funny chat. And it's a pleasure to always have Mass. And you will see me playing Palworld.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep it real with you. I'm a little concerned about the comments I'm about to get on this show. So so anyway, I'll catch you guys for another show.
That's
Peace.
my name from now on. That's my